All right, we are back. Welcome in, everybody, to Impact. We're live on Twitch right now, but if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We've got Tim on Esper Satoru and Jake on Esper Satoru. We've got a good old-fashioned mirror match. Well, not old-fashioned, because both of these decks are relatively new. So, yeah, we are going to have some fun here. I absolutely love watching this deck go, and now I get to watch it twice. So this is going to be sick. If you are on Twitch, though, make sure to hang out in chat and let me know, you know, interact. That's all I'm saying. We have a Stoneforge Mystic, which is going to go find what here? Cryptic Coat, the brand new. Well, it's from Merge at Carlisle Manor, but newish, new to modern for sure. Thanks to Satoru. And Jake gonna go to 19 off the fetch. He's gonna surveil Undercity Sewers. And he'll keep that card on top. He likes that one. These guys in real tight. I love it. I can see all the cards. There's a Stoneforge Mystic for Jake. I like that. He says, I think I'll do it as well. Tim, going to allow it, although I don't think he has anything really that could stop it at this point. Jake gonna grab Assimilation Aegis. So this is the Oblivion Ring that when you equip it, the equipped creature becomes the creature that got exiled. All right, Tim going to play Backstreet Boys land. It's a white-black surveil land. He'll keep it on top. Got a Teferi, a Subtlety. Thoughtseize, targeting you. Tim gonna drop to 15. Voidrend, Cryptic Coat, Assimilation Aegis, another Cryptic Coat, Ephemerate, and Tashani's Tidebinder. Huh. I mean, Voidrend is kind of the only... Yeah. I don't think you would take the Assimilation Aegis or the Cryptic Coat just because, you know, they're very similar. Although, Assimilation Aegis and Voidrend are both removal spells, essentially. So maybe you take the Tidebinder or the Ephemerate. But the Ephemerate not doing a whole lot right now. But he will decide to take the Ephemerate. What do I know? And a swamp for Jake. All right, pass back. Jake in the tank. Here on turn 3, we've got. And a pass back. Tim drew his Assimilation Aegis. Tidebinder getting flipped to the front of Tim's hand. And a pass back. And I think we're going to see a Tidebinder here. Whoa. Tim kind of showing his hand a little. Not literally, but... Ooh, and a Subtlety. Is Tim going to fight back with a Subtlety of his own? Does have a blue card. Looks like it. I think you have to fight over this. It's just such a big play. So that will put Jake's Subtlety on the bottom of his library. Fizzles the Stoneforge trigger thanks to the Tidebinder. Play a Marsh Flats. And Jake just passes back here. And 2 Teferis in hand for Tim. Neither of these players getting really to do what they want to do here yet. Tidebinder gonna crash in. Get it? Like a wave. Down to 14 goes Jake. Down to 13 goes Jake off the fetch. Gonna get a Meticulous Archive. Gonna Surveil. Excuse my squeaky chair. Void Rend your Tidebinder. And there's Otawara. And a pass back for Jake. Back to Tim. Control of Khaz'dul, the draw. Is it Teferi time? Are we cycling here? Swamp cycling. Or swamp cycling, so he will discard the troll and go grab a swamp card. Sweet thing about these swamp cyclers and, you know, like Loran revealed, you can actually go get dual lands with them. You can go get your shock lands or surveil lands, because it doesn't have to be a basic. In this scenario, Tim will get a basic. Plays the swamp that he just cycled for. Tim, I think, checking his notes, making sure he knows. He has a pretty good idea of what's in Jake's hand. Is it Teferi time, or are we going to activate this Stoneforge Mystic at some point? Kind of don't want to bounce the Stoneforge Mystic. He's just going to cast the Cryptic Coat. Okay. Jake says thumbs up. And we have a Cryptic Coat with the creature with Ward 2 on it. Now Jake's got all this mana. Can activate his Stoneforge Mystic. Because he's got Cryptic Coat in his hand as well. Yep. Take a look. I didn't quite see it. Jake saw it. That's what matters. Jake gonna take a draw step. Polluted Delta, land for turn. Gonna get in there. Drops to 12. Solitude the pickup for Tim. Pretty good pickup. Tim gonna attack for 3. Jake obliges and takes it. Down to 10. Here's Teferi 3. Double Solitude in hand. How does Jake want to respond? I'm not sure exactly what's in his hand at this point. Might be a Tidebinder and Assimilation Aegis. I think. Getting the correct mana together. He can't activate this Stoneforge Mystic. We know about the Assimilation Aegis. I mean, it is a Tidebinder. It's the really cool, trippy artwork. He's gonna bounce the cloak and replay the cloak. Oh, so maybe he wants crack the fetch. Drop to 9. All right, let's untap. Not getting a good view of what he drew. Ah, Stoneforge Mystic. Tim says, yep. Gonna grab a Cauldron Complete. That's pretty good, especially when you have another Stoneforge Mystic that you can immediately activate. That's what's gonna happen here. Now, Tim obviously has the Solitude. And there's the famous Ampharos token for his... Is it a Germ or a Phyrexian? Forget. Attack. Ew. I assume we're going to see at least one of these. Oh, can't play both of the Solitudes. Jake's all foiled out. The issue here, though, for Tim is he's going to pitch the Teferi, Solitude, the Germ token. Jake's going to gain a ton of life, go up to 14. Was he attacking the Teferi? He will just chump with the Stoneforge Mystic. Not willing to give up the other Solitude. Or, excuse me, the Teferi. Prismatic ending the draw. Prismatic ending. What do you even hit? You could bounce a token? Tag the other token, I guess? With Prismatic ending? Draw a card off Teferi? I think that's where you start. Bounce a token. See what you draw. Still got that Tidebinder in hand, does Jake. Persist. Okay, he can persist. Kind of telegraphing what he has. I think Jake is playing persists as well, so and if not, he's very aware of what Tim is capable of doing. It's like when you draw a card and check your graveyard, telling your opponent basically what you pulled. That's why you got to check the graveyard every single turn. Keep them guessing. Gonna persist. Target Solitude. Take down the token. Pay the ward, says Jake. Up to 16. And he will instep bounce his Cryptic Coat. That is a great question. That's what I thought, but let me look. It does have ward too. Hang tight, guys. So, Grant, you are correct. It is ward 2. They both know that now. Granted, it definitely helped out Tim. Because Jake hasn't targeted one of these Cryptic Coat creatures yet. But moving forward, they know that. And Satoru obviously came into play when I was out of the room. There's some life was lost as well. I don't know why so many of our players play with their lands off to the side. You know, usually you come into contact with people like that once in a blue moon, but it's like almost everybody who's on stream has to play them off to the side. And we are going to Prismatic ending the Satoru in response. Gonna bring that Cryptic Coat back and draw a card off Satoru. And Satoru gonna get exiled. Down to 14 off the shock, and there is a Solitude pitching. Another Solitude, gonna hit the Solitude. Tim gains 2 life. Oh my gosh. Attack you for a ton. Down to 3 goes Tim. Not looking so hot for Tim here. He's kind of been behind it all game, really. Could block with the Cryptic Coat. I mean, does have Solitude, so we can take care of the token. If he does that, Jake can bounce the coat back to hand. 5. Actually, he can't, right? Ward 2. Ward 2 makes a big difference. And that's what they're laughing about. And that'll be it. Game 1 gonna go to Jake in the Satoru mirror. Ward 2. pretty relevant. Man, whoever's sitting in the blue seat has had the hot hand tonight in game 1, that's for sure. We're gonna kick it back to the booth. Hey, what's up? I'm Les Alex. We're live at Impact. We stream every single Friday. Every single Friday at 7 p.m. It is about 9:50. If you're in the St. Louis area, though, come on up. We've got a ton of Magic players out there playing Commander. Got about 16 playing, not Pioneer, Modern. And then we also have the Ursula's Return Lorcana sealed event going on. There's 16 for them. Hey, Voodoo, what's up? How you been, my friend? We are watching some live Modern action. I commentate every single Friday here at Impact Gaming Center. And how have you been, Voodoo? Long time no see. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All the fun things. If you are watching, as I said, live on Twitch, we just became affiliates. If you want to support the content here on Impact, you can by giving us some Bezos bucks. Just getting back into MTG, here to see everyone cooking up as we approach Modern Horizons 3. Yeah, it's right around the corner, isn't it? So this format, kind of a dead format, right? Kind of a lame duck format, but nevertheless, Modern's always a good time. We just got introduced to this Esper Satoru deck, and I've been loving commentating it. It's a blast to watch. But yeah, let's get down, see if we can see anybody. 220 life. I think Jake wishes. But yeah, Jake won game 1. Tim gonna try and bounce back. I assume Tim will be on the play. I'm gonna have to start telling players they need to. Oh, look at that! Thoughtseizes, Dothy Voidwalkers. Seeing all the cards for Jake that he brought in. I'm gonna have to start telling the players they have to play their lands underneath their permanents. Is this off to the side stuff? Because we have a bad glare on the left side, on the red player's left side, and don't work for me. Not here for the Jedi mind tricks. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. But yeah, tonight we've seen Azorius Control takedown. Is it Murktide in round 1? In round 2, we had Asmo Food take down Green Black Yawgmoth. And then here in round 3, we've got Esper Satoru Mirror Match. Oh my gosh. Reminds me of a guy at Locals. This is Voodoo saying, reminds me of some guy at Locals who played 4 different artworks with 12 different languages in his Tron pieces. So people with land destruction, the wrong stuff. Yuck. I agree, Voodoo. That's pretty disgusting. And he's a Tron player on top of it. Like, ugh. Jake gonna take a look. I see a Satoru. Not good enough. Both players gonna take a mulligan. Not liking their opening 7. Both of these players are not 1-0. They're both 2-0. That's been wrong the whole time. It's alright. Yeah, so the Esper Satoru build is Satoru, the brand new card from Outlaws at Thunder Junction. The new Up the Beanstalk is what they're calling it. Some players play it with Ether Vials, so whenever you play a creature card, if no mana was cast or used to cast it, you draw a card. So with the Evoke Elementals, it's just you draw a ton of cards, right? But these players have elected to use Persist and persist them back. And then, of course, when you ephemerate, that is technically a creature coming into the battlefield. So it's just a great value engine. Satoru's awesome. And they're playing Stoneforge Mystic. So whenever with Cryptic Coat and Assimilation Aegis, so that's technically creatures entering the battlefield with no mana used to cast them because they're germs or the manifest tokens or whatever they're called. Here's a Backstreet Surveil Land and a pass back. Eluded Delta down to 17 goes Jake. Yeah, I hope that's a good enough explanation of kind of what the deck does. It's a Blade deck that uses the Evoke Elementals to gain advantage with Ephemerate and draw cards when Satoru's on the battlefield. There's a turn 1 Grief, pitching Satoru. Tim? In the tank here as he's getting griefed on turn 1. Hey, I saw last week Tim griefed a Gift Storm player 3 times in 1 turn. So, can't be too mad. Just saying. So in response, Solitude. And there's Satoru leaving him with just lands. Holy smokes. There is a Teferi 3. Which is a good card, no doubt, but Jake was able to rip his hand apart there. Meticulous Archive, Surveil, puts Thoughtseize in the bin. Tim's going to fetch down to 19. I'm sure we'll be getting a Surveil land of some variety. Undercity Sewers, the blue-black one. So Tim will take a look at the top card and decide whether he wants to keep it on top or put it in his graveyard. Mulling over his decision here. Need to find action. What was that? Oh, it was a grief. Yeah, that's not the kind of action you need at this point. All right. Flooded Strand inbound, and there's Stoneforge Mystic. Trigger. He's going to go searching up. And that is a great creature against Teferi. Not one that you really want to bounce. I don't know what that card is. Ooh, he's got Grief Double Ephemerate. He needs to find a black card to get the thing going here. Gonna crack his fetch land. Is Jake dropped to 16. A Shock and a Godless Shrine. I don't think that's Dothy Voidblock. Torok. We're gonna need to go and check and see what the heck this card does. All right. Pro white. When an opponent discards a card, put a +1 counter on it. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, target opponent discards 2 cards. Pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. All right, now we're gonna Cryptic Coat inbound, and man, Jake's running away with this one right now. Gonna get in there. And yes, Jake did kick Torok. Jake looking like he might be playing in our finals next round here. Looks like Voodoo says looks like all she wrote. Yeah, not looking too good for Tim here. Brief. Prismatic Ending. Prismatic Ending is a reasonable draw. Certainly not going to claw him back into the game, but I mean, at this point, I'm not sure what will. Because the Grief really doesn't do much at this point. He's fighting, he needs to attack the board, not Jake's hand. In response to the ending, we are going to Ephemerate. Pro white is absolutely brutal. Yeah. And Assimilation Aegis going to enter the battlefield. Going to O-ring, essentially, the Satoru. Oh boy. And that Ephemerate will be coming back. Elects not to use it. We'll just get in with the team. And Tim gonna call it. Jake gonna win the Esper Satoru mirror match over Tim. He will improve to 3-0 and head into the championship match. What a round. Jake kind of ran away with it there in game 2, but that game 1 was quite interactive. I'm Les Alex. You can follow me on the internet, follow me on Twitter, and I make YouTube videos on Magic the Gathering over on YouTube. And I stream on Twitch occasionally. Otherwise, make sure to follow Impact on all the social media places. YouTube, here on Twitch, we stream on Fridays at 7 p.m. And of course, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. There will be another video popping up here soon, so make sure that you click on one of those if you like this kind of content. I guarantee you'll like more content from us. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. We will be taking a quick break, but I just heard time called, so we will be right back on the other side of this ad break. Be kind to one another, and I'll catch you on the other side of this ad break. Adios.